To the next hand, we have Ace 8, and this is one that we can, it's not going to take a whole lot of time to explain, but I think it is important sometimes just knowing kind of what you can represent in certain situations and knowing people's tendencies. And so here in this spot, we're pretty deep. I'm playing on a deep stack table. I've got, almost 250 big blinds. My opponent has, my main opponent here has around the same. And I pick up Ace 8 on the button. I just decided to min raise. The big blind was super aggressive. Small blind was kind of passive, really fishy type guy. And so I figured, sometimes I min raise, sometimes I make it 3 or 4x, just depends. But here I just made it 2x. So I get called in both places, which is going to happen a lot deep stacked when you just make a minimum raise. And I'm okay with that, that's fine. And the flop comes King, King, 5. So no flush draws. We have spade, club, hearts, rainbow. And the weaker opponent, small blind, leads out right away for 18 bucks. And so the big blind, who's like a good aggressive thinking player, does something that most good thinking aggressive players would do, which is realize that there's just nothing this kind of fishy guy is representing here. Why would he just lead out for 18 into $40-something pot? And he figures he should be able to shut me out because my range is probably super weak, just min raising the button. And it's a great spot for him to try and take the pot down with King, King, 5 board. And so he raises to 68. And so I see it go bet raise in front of me, and I've got nothing. But what I do know is that the small blind very, very, very infrequently has a hand as strong as 3 queens. He's usually got like something like 5-6, or he's got like just total air. There's just garbage in this guy's range. There's nothing that's ever going to like play a big pot. And so I know that the good aggressive player is going to just pounce on that play, almost every time. And so to me, this seemed like a situation where I have the ability to look the strongest. I have position. And so what I decided to do is, rather than putting the action right there on the flop and re-raise, which I actually think might induce sometimes, because this guy's pretty solid here in the big blind, it might induce him to actually come over the top, because what would I really be re-raising with? My range is so narrow to be re-raising with there. It should only be like pocket 5s that's trying to just continue to build a pot against, hoping he's up against 3 kings. Or it should be like, a really good king, like king, queen, or ace, king, which is unlikely when I just min raise the button. So I didn't want to put myself in that position of maybe him coming back over the top of me, because stacks are deep, there's plenty of play. And so I thought it looked strongest by me just cold calling there. So I cold called 68. And on the turn, it was a jack, and he checked to me, and I didn't mess around trying to make a tiny bet or any, I wasn't trying to, just get away with a tiny bet, figuring that his range is super polarized. I didn't want to mess around making him think that he had any ability to outplay me or give him any ideas, and so I just made 145, which was not too much below the pot size, and I took it down. He turbo folded. So, you don't always have to let other people be the ones to exploit obvious plays. Don't be afraid to get in there and do the same yourself.